Hello, everyone. Okay, so we are live with my weekly show called Shift Happens. We're live on my profile and also in my private group called Style Your World. I'll give you some more information about that a little bit later, but today I have a special guest. Her name is Darien Pruitt, and I specifically asked her for a reason because today we're talking about when you make shift happen, you can either shift forward or you can shift backwards. So before we start, my name is Holly O'Brien. I'm really excited that you're here. Let me know, are you tuning in live or are you watching the replay? So hashtag live, hashtag replay. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I know we have people from all over the United States. So I want to know, where are you from? I'm from Florida. If you're from Florida, woohoo, it's a little bit warmer here. I know up north it's a lot colder. But let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know if you know who we are. You're like, who are you? Or I know you, because we always like to meet new friends. And we're here for community. And the only way to get to know you is if you let us know who you are and where you're from. Because if you're local, we have lots of meetups and things that we do. So I know Darien is on the Pacific Coast. She's 3 hours ahead. It's 10:30 here. She's like, what, 7:30? She's in my waiting room right now. So let me tell you a little bit about the show and a little bit about her so you know who we're talking to. So Shift Happens is a show that I do weekly. And what I do is I interview people on what helped you make the shift in life. You know, when shift happens, how did you make that shift forward? We're doing this because we want to serve you. We want to show you that A, things are possible. B, we want to give you advice on how to get there. And also, please ask questions. Ask questions like, how did you get here? You know, how did you overcome your fears? How did you make that transition that was difficult? Or we would just like you to listen for you to listen in because you could possibly be going into a shift in your life, and this may help you for your future. So again, if you're tuning in live, we can go ahead and see the comments here. We'll say hello and where you're tuning in from. So today we're talking about shifting forward or shifting backwards. When things happen and you've got tough things that happen in your life, you can either self-sabotage and you can go backwards, which often we do, or you can buckle up and go along for the ride and make that shift forward, which is difficult. But I have a special guest today who's going to help us, I don't know, give us some advice and help us understand what helped her make the shift from where she was before to where she is today. So without further ado, I want you guys to clap. Clap. I can hear you. Don't worry, I can hear you. I need you guys to clap. I'm going to bring up Darien, and I want her to share a little bit about her. There she is.
Hi, good morning.
Oh, yeah. That color on you is beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I love this top.
It's so pretty. Okay, Darien, I'm honored to be able to interview you today. Oh, I got goosebumps. Isn't that funny?
Me too.
You inspire me, and there's so many reasons you inspire me. I just got to listen to a training that you did. I watched the replay, so I got to listen to it yesterday, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's brilliant. You are a brilliant business owner, and I know you've worked for companies. I know you've owned your own companies, and I met you. I don't even know, the timeline is crazy. I met you in Mexico. Was that a year ago?
It was a year ago.
A year ago in Mexico. So I got to hear a little bit about your story and learn who you were. And I was like, wow, I'm really honored to work with someone like you. And I feel like I can learn a lot. And I have, and so many people have. So I would love to hear a little bit about you, a little bit about your past, and what made you make that transition to shifting forward, right? Because where you were in Mexico was, I want to change. And I love these people and I want to change. But you did that and you took steps forward and not steps back. So first, Darien Pruitt, tell me a little bit about your owner of Mobile Yogi Boutique. What does that mean? What do you own?
So I am also honored to be on the show. I appreciate you and love that you asked me to be here. So the Mobile Yogi and Boutique is a collection of different things that I personally offer. So one of them being I teach yoga. I like to say it's like the Uber Eats for yoga. So I'll bring it to you. Specifically want to focus on workplace wellness, but I'm finding other opportunities that have been really fun. I also offer an online boutique where I can bring a sample of my boutique along with me. I've been doing a lot of fun events with that, and helping women create their own businesses with their boutiques, as well as I just added spray tanning to my services. So I'm going to be working on, so that starts at the beginning of April, just because it's another fun, cool income stream, and I am always mindful of having multiple income streams. So that is the Mobile Yogi and Boutique.
Okay, so wait. So if I'm super curious, because if you were local, I would be hiring you for spray tans
Mhm.
because we know how damaging the sun can be. I'm from Florida, so like all fake tan. People think I'm
Yes.
like really tan. Like no. So where are you located? So the people that are watching can look you up and possibly hire you for spray tanning or yoga or even share your boutique. So where are you located?
So I'm in Mesa, Arizona, but I typically serve Gilbert, Chandler, Mesa, Queen Creek. Those are all the places that I have classes, or my salon is in Gilbert. So I'm pretty much all over the East Valley right now.
So cool. So cool. So you have your boutique, your mobile, you just did your ribbon cutting. Was it like last week? Week
Yeah,
before?
week before last.
So what did you do before you made the shift to decide to just go out on your own?
So I was a district sales manager in construction, and I had worked really hard to get into that position. I was the only female in that position. It's very, if you can imagine, it's a very male dominated industry. And, I have no college education. I dropped out of high school, but I worked really hard and got into that role.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that about you. Oh my
Yes.
gosh, guys. Okay, so sorry, I'm going to cut you off for a minute. If you're listening right now and you're saying, I can't do this because I didn't graduate high school, I can't do that because I didn't go to college. Did you just hear what she said? Did you just hear what she said? What made you like take that step forward, even though you didn't go to college, didn't
So,
graduate?
so I was really determined. I was in the same industry as my mom, and I saw that she, had a hard time being in a male dominated industry. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this. And I had even started taking college classes because I thought, oh, I can't do this without a degree. And I just
Mhm.
kept going and I kept going. And the right people and the right opportunity was presented to me. And I went for it, even though I didn't feel like I was ready. I was terrified. I interviewed for the job and I'm like, what am I doing? And I got it. And I just busted my butt and just made sure that I took care of my team and the business. So,
Wow. Okay, so put a 1 in the chat if you feel like you wanna do something, but you're not ready. Like, it's like, "Oh, well, I'll have kids when we're ready." Well, that's never gonna happen,
yeah.
I'll
And I
off
had a
when I'm
1 year
ready.
old. I had a 1 year old and was getting married. So, yes, when I interviewed for this position. So it was scary. I was leaving security for sure.
Wow, so you did things scared,
I always do.
and you're alive to tell us today. So I talk to a lot of people about doing things scared. So some of you guys know, maybe not everyone here, but I was petrified to talk in front of people. And the only way I was going to learn how to do it is do it scared. So I know from experience what you walked through was scary, but you're here today to
Mhm.
share with other people that they could do the same and they're not going to die. Did you
100%.
did you fail at anything in life? Have you ever failed at anything in life?
There's nothing, I think we all beat ourselves up for little things sometimes when you're laying in bed or you wake up in the middle of the night, but there's nothing I can really think of that I have failed at. I feel like if something didn't go a certain way, I at least learned a lesson. And I just keep going. You just pick yourself up and you just keep going forward, just one step in front of the other, and you won't fail.
I love that you just said that because failure is not a real thing. Failure, in my opinion, I know everyone's got different opinions on what failure actually is. Failure is a step in either a different direction. It's relearning something maybe you didn't learn, but it's always a step forward if you let it, right? So failure is going to teach you something. And I love that you were able to conquer through the things in life, learning from them and taking a step forward. So another question I have for you, how did you make that transition though? Like you had a secure job, you were like the woman and you're like, put a 2 in the chat if you're proud of Darien in a male dominant industry. As a woman, we know sometimes it's really hard. There's a lot of amazing men out there, not to say nothing against the men in the world. There's amazing men in the world, but it can be really hard as a female, just so you know, coming into a male dominant industry, like, and you were like, busting down walls and like doing all these things. What made you make that transition? Because that's a pretty hefty transition to where you are today.
100%. So I had gone through a lot of um, life challenges. It was like the roller coaster was going up with all these challenges. So I will tell you some of them. My mom had been diagnosed with cancer. I had a friend passed away. I was diagnosed with pancreatitis, so I had to quit drinking. There was a lot of different things, and it just kept going up and up and up and up. And I was at the height of my career. I have a beautiful home. I have a beautiful family. And when my friend passed away in March of last year, excuse me, February of last year, I I just decided I had been planting all these seeds about becoming a yoga instructor, and that's what my heart's desire was. That's
Mm.
I wanted to serve. And when my friend passed away, one of the last conversations she and I had was I had told her I want to do my side business and I want to teach yoga full time. And she said, if you can do it, do it. It was literally the last thing she said to me. And I took a month off of work and came back and just said, hey, I'm done. So gave my notice and was there for another 6 weeks or so and started my yoga teacher training in August of last year.
Holy cow. Sorry, I didn't expect to cry in this. So seeing someone else at the end of their life and you being able to push past that and say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it well. And I love that you were able to do that because some people like resiliency. There's some people that are super resilient and there's some people that aren't. I don't know why certain people are extremely resilient and certain people aren't. And if I can interview someone about that, that would be amazing because I think it would help a lot of people. But the fact that you got to take all of these really hard things and you got to say, well, I'm going to do this. And I don't want to put words in your mouth, but do you feel like part of that was like, I'm freaking doing this because for my friend? Like, tell me a little bit.
So it's a little bit for my friend and a little bit for my mom too. So even though my mom like really worked hard in this industry that we were in together, um, she she has my back for everything. She's like one of my best friends, and she said, do it. You can do it. Um, but it was a lot for my friend too because she had struggled with alcoholism, and we had a lot of similarities. We were both just badass business women, honestly. And we were very close, and just being able to do certain things in her honor. And my mom's still with us, but just being able to do things so, like I said, in their honor so they could see me. And honestly, it just feels really good in my body to be able to do what I want to do.
To have control over your life. A
Yeah.
lot of us feel like we don't have control and we're not sure what's going to happen because we really don't. Even if you think you have control, you really don't. Because things are going to happen, right? So, like, instead of going backwards, all these different things happen. Boom, 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 boom. Instead of hermiting and just going into a dark room and just saying, I don't want to face or deal with anything. Instead of going backwards, you went forwards. So, what advice would you give to someone who's in that position that is like, I really maybe do want to open my own boutique, but I'm scared. Maybe I do want to go to this yoga class, but I'm scared. All these things are happening in my life. I can't do it because. What advice would you give them?
So I would say this is one thing that I did a lot was really think about what is the worst thing that could happen. So I sat here and mind you, my husband had just started his own business when I decided to take this leap too. So it was like, how are we going to do this financially? How are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? So one is think about what's the worst thing that could happen. And number two, start putting the steps in place. So like I had said, I had planted
Mhm.
seeds all along on my journey before I really did wake up one day and say, I'm doing this. And mind you, I struggle with anxiety and depression. So it would have been very easy for me to just crawl into bed and just stay there. But start planting those seeds and then look ahead, make a plan, make
Mhm.
it happen, do what you need to do. And the main thing, we call it in yoga, leaning into discomfort. I also call it doing it scared, but you just have to you just have to go. And honestly, even though I'm doing this now, it's scary too. I mean, there's days that I wake up and I'm like, what am I doing? But then I'm just like, I can do whatever I want. So do it scared, make a plan.
Okay, do it scared, make a plan. I wrote that down. Do it scared, make a plan. Guys, I want you to do me a favor. Do me a favor. People that are watching, I want you to close your eyes. Okay, close your eyes. I can see you, so close your eyes. I want you to picture the thing that you want in life. Picture the thing that you really, really want, but you're scared. Okay. I want you to also ask the question, what is the worst thing that could happen? Okay, I want you to picture it. More often than not, the worst thing that could happen isn't even real, and it won't happen. But you'll never know what is going to happen unless you try. There's three kinds of people in the world. You can make things happen, you can let things happen, or you can say what happened. You get to decide the person you want to be. Darien made things happen. I made things happen. Thousands of women that Darien and I work with, we actually work together in a company, have made things happen, but they didn't do it alone, and they did do it scared. And they may not have had a plan when they started, but we helped them with that plan when they started. Darien, can we take the first step for people?
No, they have to take the first step. I mean, we can help them along the way, but they have to be the first one to say yes.
They have to say yes. Guys, you don't have to say yes knowing all the things, right? If you've ever wanted to have your own boutique, if you love wearing clothes and you want to get free clothes or discounts, if you're curious about the industry that Derry and I are in, please reach out to us because this is your vehicle to be able to get the things you've always wanted, but you did not know how to get there. We have tools, we have trainings. If you're just someone that wants to learn how to speak in front of people, besides having your own boutique or having access to, my gosh, thousands of beautiful clothing items and making an income, all the things that come with our industry, what else do you feel people get outside of the finance? Because you can make great money outside of getting great clothes. Like, what could people really get by joining you or joining me or joining some women that are in the space with us?
So when I started in this opportunity, I really came for the clothes. I'll be 100% honest. I was in a very dark place.
Yes.
And I was like, the clothes are cute. Exactly. The clothes are cute. I'm wearing this stuff all day long anyway because I'm working from home. But what I found once I was here was personal development with a paycheck. And I was getting that. I was getting tons of training and my big girl job and all of those things. But I got personal development with a paycheck. I learned a lot about myself, not to mention the amazing people like Holly that I have met along this journey. I mean, and these are real friends. I have friends all over the country, soon to be the globe, that are rooting each other on, rooting me on. I'm rooting them on. We're helping each other. We're working together. And there's nothing like that. And that was something that I really, really needed when this opportunity came my way.
Yes. Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, guys, we're doing something that's never been done before. You're going to meet people that you've never met all over the country that are real people. Because one thing that I really love, actually I love many things, but one of the most important things that hits close to my heart is you can sit at our table. I was speaking to a woman yesterday. She had a Facebook group and we were talking about some pretty deep things. And one of the things was that she felt left out and she wants people to feel welcome, people to feel like they're included. Guess what, guys? I'm not going to cry. I need you to know you can sit at our table. I was bullied when I was little. My brother was really bullied. You clearly, that's why you're getting emotional. Like, it really damages you. I'm almost 40 years old and can't get through this without crying. You can sit at our table. If you've ever been bullied, if you ever felt like you never fit in or didn't get along or you're a little weird, hello. Put a 3 in the chat if you feel like you don't belong in this world, right? I mean, we're not meant to stay here forever, so this is not our home. But if you feel like you've kind of been in that situation, you have a seat at our table. So I want you to lean in. We have a private group that we can invite you to that shows you a little more like a peek behind the curtains of who we are, because it's not just about the clothes. It's a vehicle. It's a way to talk to people. And it's a beautiful way to help people feel beautiful, sometimes for the very first time. So I definitely want to thank you guys for tuning in. If you got something from this, let us know and let us know what you learned from this. Reach out to Darien. Reach out to Darien if you're local to her, even if you're not, if you're friends watching. I know we're going to put this on her Facebook page. I'm not crying. Crying, not crying. I see people crying, not crying. I have no friends. Guess what? You can. the shy, the people, introverts, extroverts, you can have a seat at our table. So let me know if you want to be invited into our group. No requirements. We just want you to be involved, and we've got some fun things. We've got giveaways. We've got different things that you can be a part of. But before I sign off, Darien, is there anything that's really in your heart that you feel like you need to say? Any questions? Anything you want to talk to our viewers about before we go?
I feel like I got really vulnerable here today, so I feel like I shared a lot. But just know that you can have whatever you want. You genuinely can have whatever you want, whether that's inclusion, whether that's taking the next step, to something that you want or need. You can have it, but you do have to take that first step.
You have to take the first step, and you have to be willing to get uncomfortable. But
you have to be uncomfortable.
But you have a group of people that are here to support you, and you can sit at our table. So thank you for making me cry. And thank you for, we're getting a lot of different comments here of people that are like, okay, you know what? I want to know a little bit more about who you guys are. We have a phenomenal community. If you're local, we're going to be, actually headquarters is going to be flying in at the end of the month. We're doing a big party. So if you like to party, you like clothing, you like people, you want to get to know people, you want to meet us in person, Tampa Bay, if you're in the Tampa Bay area, or if you're within driving distance, please reach out to me and let me know, because I'd love to invite you to be my special guest and to get to know you. And then I just want to leave everyone with this. Guys, today is the day that you can make shift happen. Just take the first step. So thank you for tuning in. Darien, I love you. You're amazing. Thank you for doing this. I will see you guys next week on episode 5 of Shift Happens with another special guest. And I hope you guys have a great Wednesday. Wednesday wins. Put your wins in the chat. I want to hear, what are your wins of the week? And are you ready to shift your life? Okay. Bye. Thank you. You're amazing. How do I end this broadcast? Oh, there we go. I'm ending it now.